Is that supposed to be happening?
What? Oh, yeah.
That'll,
Turn the metronome off real
that'll
quick.
drive me crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'm here with someone that I know. And her name is something that we're not going to share. No names.
Really? No names?
No names.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, it's anonymous, so we can
A whodunit type stitch?
no, not who done it, but like freely share our opinions without being tied to them by
By our identities and our names.
by our identities and our names.
Yeah, I like
exactly.
that. I'm just going to start saying the most outlandish things I've always wanted to say now.
Yeah, you should. Okay. So, first off, I got a couple questions for you written down.
Okay.
Feel free to do that. We'll, a little back and forth. We can free flow as much as you want, but I did have some things I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, yeah. We're recording this.
What's your deepest, darkest secret?
Yeah, exactly. Well, what I was going to say is we're recording this on December 30th, 2022.
True.
And I wanted to know, do you have any New Year's resolutions?
New Year's resolutions, man. I don't know. I feel like when I label something a New Year's resolution, I'm like less likely to do it. Just because I'm like, I don't know.
And why do you think that is?
I think it's like what we were talking about earlier. Like I'm like, just like the weird defiance thing I have in me that I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. But I would say that I want to. So 2022, exiting 2021.
Mm-hmm.
That year ended like extremely traumatically for me.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I felt like I was like really proud of myself, even though this past year has been like the definition of like healing and like coming to terms with a lot of things that you can't control. I was really proud of myself because I felt like I dove really heavily into like really healthy habits instead of like going the opposite way, which could have been pretty bad.
Right.
So I think I've been saying all month that 2022 was like a warm up for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like excited about that phrase.
Yeah.
So it like makes me excited for this year because now I've gotten a routine that I like really like.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's any New Year's resolutions, but I definitely want to like continue
on the positive trajectory that you're on. Okay, I see. So do you have a specific way that you like to set? Do you set goals for yourself, or what? How does that process? Because you're saying you know that you adopted these healthier habits, right? So like, how does the process of furthering yourself in a better way? Do you use goals for that, or what is your process to move forward in a positive momentum?
I think a lot of it has to do with weirdly how I was raised. I was raised with like nobody cares, work harder. Like my dad always said that to me. Like he would always make this like really outlandish like metaphor of that in life you're in a pack of dogs and you can either look at the other dog's butthole or be the head. And so like I just like will always remember that.
Yeah.
So I guess for me it's like that inner, I don't necessarily like set goals and like make a vision board or anything, but I just kind of view it as like it's me against me. You got to do it. I am an affirmation gal though. I love affirmations. I write them. So like these mirrors that you have, I have 2 in my room, and I just take an expo marker every month, and I'll write down things that I want to say to myself that month. Because I feel like I've learned the way you talk to yourself matters.
Fuck, man. Yeah, I got to get a lot better at that. But I've been trying to do it a little bit, but not making kind of the conscious effort, like writing it down. I think saying it is important.
It's important.
I try to tell myself that I love myself sometimes and stuff like that.
It's hard.
Try to say, I'm the luckiest. I like to say I'm the luckiest person in the world. I think that, then you attract luck.
Yeah.
And those negative things, and that's something that I've only just recently been getting into, but it's like, like calling yourself stupid or all these negative things that you could say, like at some point, like, you start to believe that, and then that just becomes your reality.
That's so true.
And instead, you know, it's really like a mindset shift to be talking positively to yourself.
I don't know. I really believe in manifesting, though. Like, I truly, truly believe in it. And I feel like it's like the moments for me that I feel as if it's not working, something falls into my lap, and I have a moment to reflect, to be like, wait, I was literally just manifesting this for myself. And I always feel like there's a pattern in my life where, like, there's been too many things that have happened to me that it would be stupid of me to, like, believe that that's not the case, because I've always seen it, like, come true. But that is really hard. Like, it's, like, really hard to do, to, like, talk to yourself positively.
When you manifest, what are you saying? Like,
welcome to How to Manifest 101.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So this is the thing about manifesting, is that a lot of people are like, I'm going to manifest that I have like a rich husband and a Mercedes Benz and like 5 kids. Like, that's not, I mean, if that's what you want to manifest for yourself, pop off. But the way that I learned this past year, so every morning I wake up and I write out 5 things that I'm grateful for. This is new. This was like part of this new year thing that I was doing, because I felt like I had nothing to live for. Okay. So I wrote out 5 things that I was thankful for. That could have literally been that day: my toast, my family, the fact that my socks were come out of the dryer and they were warm. Then at the end of it, I wrote a couple manifestation statements. You have to write it as if, or speak it as if it is already yours. So let's go back to the example that I had said earlier, because I kind of like made a joke out of it, but it wasn't a joke. Instead of saying like, I'm going to manifest for myself that I, with the marriage aspect, have a rich husband. Instead, you wake up and be like, I am so happy that even though I know today is going to be hard and I'm feeling really lonely, that my husband is out there and he's making so much money and our life is waiting for us. Like, it is already yours. So that's the difference. Like, for me, I was manifesting that I had a girls' trip coming up and I was like really excited for it. So I just wrote in my journal, like, my girls' trip is so amazing and I'm so excited to experience it. Like, you know what I mean? So you have to write it as if it's already yours. So that's kind of like, I think, where people have a little bit of like a hard time. And I think also like that plays into, even if you don't exactly know what you're manifesting, like my mom always likes to say that when you're going through something really hard, or like a really like kind of just like crappy place, to be like, take a moment to be like, even when it doesn't feel like it, things are always working in my favor.
Okay.
And so you're already claiming that whatever you're going through is tough, but like, you know, it gives you a sense of comfort too, because it's like, you know that it's like waiting for you, even if, you know.
And also the positive framing of like something happening for you instead of to you.
That's so real.
Yeah.
Every time I like, school was really hard for me, and every time I would have to reframe and be like, I get to go to school. Right. Not I have to, like, and then you start thinking about it and you put in perspective, like, that's so true. Like, especially as a woman and a woman of color, you're like, I actually do get to.
Yeah.
And then you automatically, you're like, wait, maybe I don't have a lot to complain about.
So I think it's pretty interesting that you did the journaling thing where you wrote down what you were thankful for each day, because I've heard a lot about that, but I've never done it. But what kind of positive effects did you see, like on a day-to-day basis? You know, it just gave you a reason to be happy, or a larger sense of fulfillment about?
I don't know if it was necessarily that. I think it was just like small reminders that like it wasn't all bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Like, it was just like, okay, I'm just going to write down that I'm thankful for my dog. And then I'm like, well, actually, I'm kind of thankful for my dog. Like, I actually love my dog. Right. And so then it's like, wait, that kind of makes me a little happy. So, and then you get in a routine of it, and they're different every day. They could be the same. You know, some days I had one thing to write because I just felt like that deep into it. But that one thing was something for me to acknowledge and be like, okay, like, that's true.
And are you still doing that?
I kind of stopped for a minute because I was traveling, but it also helps a lot with my anxiety, because I have really, really, really bad anxiety. And so like for me, it manifests itself like really physically. So I feel like there's like a stigma of like what anxiety attacks look like. You envision like someone like freaking out and panicking, but like for me it's really silent. And I feel like I go on like autopilot and I like watch myself
and you disassociate,
completely disassociate. Yeah. So for me, writing out these things, I was like, okay, like it was just also a grounding technique, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. So yeah, that's interesting because I also suffer with some anxiety stuff as well. And it can be difficult, man. And I think it does take different forms. I've experienced it in different forms. You know, I feel like I've had what people would consider like, you know, your full-fledged like panic attack thing where you like think you're gonna die, and then you know it's just you can see it. Yeah, literally though,
you think you're gonna die.
And then what I would do in those situations, I'd be like, okay. Like,
this is it.
Yeah, I guess I'll just die then.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
And at that point, I'm like, I'm fine with that. No, but it's just interesting to see the different ways that people deal with it, because I don't know if I've ever really found a way to deal with it outside of like putting myself in situations that make me feel uncomfortable. But even then, I have a hard time doing it.
Okay.
And it would, I think it would be good to get some like techniques down. Or I guess I do have ways of dealing with it that are unhealthy, right? So like having healthy ways to deal with it, because you do have to cope in some way, and that's where you know your kind of problems, and it starts to affect your life in a negative way, whether it be you know like drugs, alcohol. You know, neglecting relationships with people because you don't feel like you want to go out and you bail on them at the last second, and then they're like, fucking, I don't like this person anymore. Like, I can't tell you how many times looking back on it, like in college and high school and things like that, where I, you know, up until the very last minute, and then I would say like, I'm not going. Yeah. And people like my friends like knew me as that guy, and it did not feel good. But it's just like when you're in that headspace, like
I don't want this.
Yeah, it's like not.
It's a cry for help.
Yeah. Do you think people that don't, because like we were talking about earlier, you know, everything is kind of a spectrum, right? So everyone on some level experiences some type of anxiety.
True.
But do you think that people that are on like the lesser side of things really can understand when someone is going through it in a serious way?
No. If you told me right now my mom died in a car accident, I could sit there and say, I am so sorry for you. Let me know if you need anything. Like, I will never know what that feels like. You know what I mean? I don't think that means that someone can't be there for you and that someone can't like try to. What's the difference? It's empathize and sympathize.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, but no. Like, you know what I mean? So I think that someone can be there for you to the best of their ability, but unless you've gone through it, like, and that's hard though, and that goes for a lot of things. Like for me, like what I mentioned earlier, like I had something really traumatic happen to me last year. Like that was hard because I knew one person who went through something like remotely similar, but it almost, and that's the problem though, is that like I feel it made me like more secluded, because I was like, I don't want to hear like, well, you can talk about it if you want, like, I'm so sorry, or you're gonna get through this, or it's like, I don't want to hear that. No one had what I wanted to hear, you know what I mean? So like in those situations, like it's nice to have friends that you can be like have as a soundboard, but until you have someone who really knows that feeling of like you feel like there's bullets bouncing around in your chest and like you can't breathe and like you physically can't do something, or you can't catch one thought that's going through your mind as much as you're trying, like you can't really understand it. But I don't think that means that there's like that makes a person useless, like you know what I mean?
Of course. Well, when you're saying that you didn't want to hear the things that they were saying, right? Was there, looking back on it, was there something that you think someone could have said who hadn't gone through whatever that was that would have been a good thing to say? Or was it just kind of like, since they don't understand the experience, it's like...
I think that specific scenario,
yeah,
there was a lot of anger. Like I I experienced a really traumatic death is basically what I'm waltzing around. And
I'm sorry, by the way.
Oh, no, it's fine. Well, it's not fine, but thank you. I've learned that too, that it's not fine to like.
Am I just saying the thing you don't want to
get
hear
out of
right
here. I don't want to hear that. No. No one had the answer. That's the problem. That's the thing with grief, though. There is no answer. Like, you people can go to, I even thought about going to like a psychic, like that's not going to bring anyone back from the dead, you know, like that. It's all internal. But I think that I wish I would have allowed the people around me, even if they were saying things that I didn't feel were helpful, to still say them, because I shouldn't have been as alone as I was. But luckily for me, I'm thankful some other people are not so lucky. I'm thankful that I have friends that didn't allow me to do that to a full extent. Where like, I don't care, I'm coming over, or, you know, I'm going to call you every day. Like, I'm going to fly home. If you're not texting me, but I'm talking to your mom every day, making sure that you're at least eating, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I feel blessed in that manner, because I know that a lot of people don't experience that. So
yeah. In a situation like that, sometimes I just try to say like, I can't even fucking imagine that happening, you know, because going back to the sympathizing versus empathizing, like, it's going to make someone feel so much more shitty if you're like, oh, well, like, this person died, and then you're like, oh, yeah, my dog died last.
You were literally going to say that.
And then it's like, bro, no one wants to hear that. And no one wants to hear, oh, they're in a better place now, or like any of that shit. So I feel like in those situations, you know, I try, and I've been lucky enough to not really have to deal with anything all too serious in my life in that regard. But you know, that's why I just try to say, like, I can't even fathom what you're going through, but you know, just know that I'm here for you, and if there's anything that I can do, and just to be a pal, like,
that's the biggest thing though, is like, I really wanted my I don't know if the right word is like companionship, but I wanted just someone there. I didn't want to talk, and like I said, lucky for me, my friends really understood that. But that's like the biggest thing, is offering your support in any capacity.
Yeah.
Like, if you want me to just come over and change your sheets, or you want me to sit on your bed, or you want me to drive you somewhere, like, and not speak, like, in those situations, but it's also different for everyone, depending on what you've experienced, you know. So
yeah, and
that was what I wanted.
Just different people, you know, different people deal with it, you know, very, very differently, as I've seen throughout the years with traumatic, you know, deaths in particular. You know, so people, yeah, it's weird. It's weird because, you know, some people kind of almost, I don't want to say play it off, but like some people like play the role of like being fine, like right away, kind of. And it's just, you know, since I haven't really gone through anything like that, you know, I don't really know what to make of it. But I guess people, you know, it's obvious everybody grieves differently.
No, that's true. That was hard for me. It goes back to what I told you earlier about how I was raised. Like, that whole like no one cares, work harder. Like, there's downsides and upsides to that. That totally bled into my grieving process. Like, I was like, well, he's, you know, no one's coming back to the dead, or coming back to life from the dead, so I gotta get to work. Like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And I never, like, for a couple minutes there, I was like having severe panic attacks, like, after it happened, and I realized that there was so much that I didn't unpack,
right,
of like how that really affected me.
Yeah.
And it was because I don't think I ever really sat in it. But we tend to, as humans, like, when something gets uncomfortable, you want to move, right? Versus sitting in that uncomfortability. And that's when, like, they say that the most growth happens. But after I allowed myself to, like, really sit in that discomfort with those, like, really, like, scary, like, weird, disturbing thoughts, like, I was, like, of everything that had happened, and, like, it's processing. You have to process it. And that doesn't look the same for everyone. But once I did, I was, like, I felt that those, like, moments of heaviness were getting lighter and lighter. But it's true, like, it's different for everyone. So yeah
I feel like when I go through a situation like that, I try to, like, almost not really think about it that much, and just like gloss over it, and like be there for the other people around me, but then also, you know, like not really address my own like emotions about it. And excuse me, I wonder if you could ever fully come to terms with it. I think some people might, you know, come to terms with a you know, serious death like that. Do you think that you know, with enough grieving and maybe therapy or whatever it is that works for you, do you think you can fully, I don't want to say get over it because that's not the right word, but come to terms and accept the situation for what it is?
So I feel like I should disclaim, like, I feel like I should start by saying that I'm not like an expert on any of this, and like this was so specific to like my scenario. Right. Like, I don't want to speak for others and say that this is how you should do it, because people have been through like way more traumatic stuff.
Right,
but like for me, I think it's so circumstantial. So like,
that's fair.
In my scenario, and it's like fine to talk about it now, but I was dating someone and he ended up taking his life. So that was like hard for me, because what you're asking is like, you know, is there a way to process that? So I could work through therapy my whole life and process my emotions. I will never know what was going through his head.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So your mom dying in a car accident, which didn't happen, but I'm going back to that example. We could process that, you know, things were out of her control, or, you know, whatever, all those things, or someone dying of cancer. But so it's just circumstantial. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I will never understand the full side. I'll never get the questions or the answers to the questions that I have, you know? So.
Yeah. Suicide is a tough one.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's a doozy.
Because I think.
Yeah.
I think that comes with a lot of. Sometimes people tend to blame themselves, or to think, you know, things like that.
It was single-handedly the most life-altering event I think I've ever had in my life. Like to this day, for sure. It altered everything I do about my life, from the way that I handle things, to the way I think about things, to the way that I treat people. Mm-hmm. It's altered everything.
So, but going back to this year that you've had, right? So you've been working on kind of seeing the meaning of life again, and you know, trying to kind of find some happiness for yourself and spread that to others as well, which I think is a good way to go about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, it's not anything that would break me or make me cry. Like, I don't want to make you uncomfortable, but that was just like what I was like. That's why it's like, it's just hard to say, because it's like my circumstance was so like specific.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no one size fits all like grieving process.
Yeah. But I feel like that's like okay to talk about. That's been like the biggest thing, is like, it's not taboo. Like, it's not hush hush. Like, it happened, and like I had to work through that, and it made me feel better, like talking about it, like to my friends and stuff.
Do you think was your family, were they supportive of you throughout that situation? Or
yeah, I mean, like, again, I felt lucky because my mom is like a mental health professional, so like,
right,
she knew all the signs and everything to do. And my dad had never experienced death up until like a couple years ago. He lost his younger brother. Mm-hmm. Suddenly, like tragically, he like died in his sleep at 30. Like, terrible. So wow. Again, circumstantial, like not what happened to me, but he understood, you know, what I was going through. So my family was extremely supportive of me, and like, well, not supportive, but well, yeah, like yeah. They were there for me, and like, I don't know if I would have been able to like really actually get through that if my parents weren't literally scraping me up off the floor.
Yeah, and you think you've made strides since then to where you are now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at first it's like you don't need like it's just like the questions of like what like the story in itself is crazy like of like just everything like how I found out like it's all just like it doesn't feel real, and then you deal with like the aftermath of like you don't realize what trauma is until you've experienced something traumatic and how it bleeds into your life every day. And like but like we had a conversation the other day about like going to the gym. Like that was literally like my saving grace, like small stuff like that. So I do feel, and that's why I feel like okay to talk about it, because I feel really proud of myself. Like that could have so easily taken me down.
Yeah, you should feel proud of yourself.
So
yeah, it's interesting how much of a positive effect the gym can have on your mental health.
That's crazy.
Like, yeah. Well, let's pivot here for a sec, okay?
Okay.
You've got a birthday coming up.
I do.
You do, and you are traveling.
I am traveling.
And tell the people where you're going.
I'm going to New York City.
City girl over here. Very exciting stuff.
City girl.
So I wanted to ask you, do you have any favorite cities? And if so, why? Por qué?
Okay. I love New York. Top 3. I used to go there for every Christmas with my family.
That's dope.
I just love that like nothing is too outlandish there. I love that. I love that it's like everything and everything all the time, all at once. Like there's nothing there's just quite literally nothing and nowhere like it. Like actually. I don't know if I'd say my number 1. Top 3 for sure. Top 5 for sure. I just recently went to Chicago and I really liked it. It was like New York but smaller and a lot cleaner.
Okay.
It was so clean.
That's nice.
It was so clean, and there was like it was really fun. And I love that kind of weather. I love the East Coast weather. I've been to Salt Lake City.
Yeah, you like Salt Lake?
Mormons get down.
Dude,
Mormons
I
get down.
Salt Lake, man.
Because let me tell you why.
Okay.
Let me tell you why.
Tell me why.
Let me tell you why the nightlife is so cool there.
Okay.
Because it's forbidden.
It's taboo.
Because it's taboo. So the nightlife is like literally this club we went to is like underground, like literally underground. It's under the floor.
Yeah.
Not like metaphorically underground.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it was like this EDM cave of just like sweat and dance and like people's behind the scenes life when they're not in like the church. Like it made it so much cooler because like, I don't know, I just felt like when you find the scene, like the people who are there, like maybe they shouldn't be there, which makes it cooler. Like,
yeah.
It was really cool. There were actually cool people in Salt Lake. And then I've been to Denver. I really liked Denver.
You like Denver?
I really liked Denver. I like cold weather though.
Yeah.
I think I prefer the cold.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you just said that you like your room to be 60 degrees.
Yeah,
so
I really do prefer the cold.
Uh-huh.
And then I loved Madison, Wisconsin. Been there a few times.
Really?
I really liked it.
You like Wisco?
I don't know if I'm obsessed with Wisconsin.
Right.
I enjoyed Madison.
Do you think it's city-wise though? Okay, let's do a top 3 though. If you had to choose 3.
Well, being from California, was born in SoCal, so I do love LA.
Okay.
My dad was born and raised in San Francisco. Not born, but raised in San Francisco, so I have a nostalgic feeling towards San Francisco.
Frisco. I'm gonna be there tomorrow.
But let's not talk about it. But it's like San Francisco actually would be like my top place to live if it wasn't so like incredibly dirty and messed up.
Hopefully my car doesn't get broken into tomorrow.
I hope it does.
You're salty, bro. You could have came.
No, I can't. I have to not come so I can pout about it.
Okay.
Top 3.
Top 3. Except for our shared home city. I don't know if that was going to be
Sacramento.
Dude, you can't be telling these people what's going. No, I'm kidding. I'm having a couple people on here to talk about Sacramento business in a little bit. Spoiler alert, we're in Sacramento right now.
You're like, dude. just dropped my pin. I like dropped your address. Okay.
But I don't even know. Is that even in your top 3?
Now I feel like it has to be.
Yeah, it's like the sentimental.
Okay, can we just
let's say excluding our hometown because that's a different type of love.
Excluding Sacramento.
It's a different type of love.
Because I am actually one of those people that likes it.
I fuck with it heavy.
Yeah.
It's my screensaver on my phone.
So, is it really?
Yeah.
That's kind of funny. Okay, top 3. New York City has to be in the top 3.
Okay. Oh, okay. You got to take that?
No, don't.
Phone on the table. That's bad podcasting etiquette.
I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I should technically like I'm podcasting. I'm
in the stew.
I'm in the pod, bro. Okay, New York has to be top 3.
Okay.
There's nothing like it.
Okay.
Too many like I'm going back and forth to some of the cities and I'm like, well, it's kind of, no, like nothing's like that.
Okay.
I don't know if it's. Do I have? I don't have to say 1, 2, 3, right?
No.
Okay,
just because they're all, you like them all for different reasons, I would presume. So.
Exactly. New York City.
Gotcha. Wait, let me ask you this. Sorry to interrupt. Little tangent here. Do you like steak?
What?
Do you like steak?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, just wondering. That's a green flag. No, I was just thinking about Peter Luger's in New York.
Dude, you got me off guard with that one.
Okay, and keep going.
Okay. Okay. Top
New York.
New York. Okay, New York. I think LA.
That's a hot take.
Let me just
explain.
Let me just tell the people.
It's a podcast.
Let me just explain this.
Yeah,
Let me just explain this. I don't think that the culture of LA now is something that I totally like love and like endorse. The whole like influencer type vibe, fake injection Kardashian thing. But what LA like has produced are things that like our country like stands on. Like it's Hollywood, it's music, it's movies, it's production, it's talent. Like everything that I want to do, like unfortunately that has to be the epicenter of where I do it.
So you're gonna move to LA?
I'm gonna try.
I could see you there.
I'm gonna try.
Okay, let's hear number 3.
I think Chicago.
Chi-Town, baby. Let's go. A mutual friend of ours just moved there. I had him on the podcast. Don't say his name.
Wait, I don't know who.
I'll tell you after the cast.
Okay.
But that just made me think, because future star in the room. I'm sure you're a fan of all the media production, movies specifically. I'm a big fan of movies.
Me too.
So how about we both share?
Okay.
Do you have... It's kind of hard to do a top 3, right?
Movies?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I thought you guys be like my favorite director or something.
Oh,
I can't do
That's pretentious. Okay, let's do director though, because I got a director in mind.
Okay, I have a director in mind. Should we say it at the same time? Just for the fun of it.
Yeah, ready?
Okay. Well, it's not going to be the same. I don't know why we're doing this.
So let's do it.
It's not going to be the same.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm going to count down.
Okay.
1. Okay, we'll say it after I say 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Quentin
Scorsese.
Tarantino. Okay.
Okay. Pretty similar in a way.
I can actually see that on you, though.
Yeah, I like Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
Taxi Driver is probably my favorite movie of all time.
Really?
Yeah. This book, Notes from the Underground by Fyodor Dostoevsky, influenced Taxi Driver. It's about a lonesome man who has a lot of fucking problems.
Okay.
And he tries to save a woman.
Have you ever seen Birdman?
No.
Okay. Awkward.
Dead air.
All right.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about this though. Okay. So, what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite Tarantino film? Because I also fucking love Tarantino. Honestly, would be my second.
Really?
Because I fucking love Kill Bill. Kill Bill is a fucking masterpiece, dude. You don't like Kill Bill?
It's one of the greatest films of all time.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die on that hill.
It might be top 3.
I'm gonna die on that hill.
Yeah, it's fucking good.
And it's funny that the reason I freaked out when you said that is because I'd say 90% of the people that I know, I've introduced them to that film.
Yeah, it's a great fucking
So I
film.
love that you've seen that.
Oh yeah. Do you like you want to I don't know if this is necessarily my favorite scene in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think the snow scene at the very end is done beautifully. But I think the lady with the ball on the chain at the end, where she's whipping it around.
Yeah, you're talking about Go-Go, whatever her name is.
Yeah, something like that.
Some her name.
That's a beautiful movie. Is that your favorite Tarantino?
Here's why, yes, because it's why I fell in love with Quentin Tarantino.
Okay. Something
about an unreasonable amount of gore just turns me on. But like in a campy way.
Yeah.
Not in like a weird like horror movie way. It's campy.
What does that mean?
Like it's camp. Like it's like
I don't know what that means.
Okay, great. Now I have to explain camp.
Yeah, it's podcasting.
Camp is like drag queens are campy. You do it exaggerated for the dramatic effect.
I see what you're saying.
And it's supposed to be exaggerated. It's supposed to be non-believable. It's like almost poking fun at what you're doing.
Right.
Wow, I'm actually proud of myself for being able to describe that because I was like, how am I going to describe this? I like that it's campy.
Perfect. Yeah. That's very Tarantino. That's like in Inglourious Basterds where he beats the guy with the baseball bat. That would be campy, right?
It's campy.
It's campy. I'm going to start using that word.
It's camp. It's called camp, is what you say. That's camp.
Why? What's the origin of it?
It derives from the Latin word.
Yeah, exactly. But okay, and then see, I think
I love
Kill Bill, and even the second one is fucking good.
It's great.
Yeah, the second one. I've watched Kill Bill probably 1,000,000 fucking times.
I've watched 1,000,002 then. like literally.
How good when she walks into the into that sushi place and she's like, I'm here to meet whatever his name is, and he gives her the sword.
Hattori Hanzo's sword.
Yeah. Oh, bro. God, I swear to God, every scene of that movie is good.
Great. I love the way that he tells stories because for me, because it's campy.
It's campy. That's like what he does.
It's camp. Like people, like I have a friend who literally is like, I hate Tarantino. Like all the blood is so like. It's like, have you seen Bullet Train?
No. What's
you would
Bullet
like
Train?
it? It's new. I'm not saying it's not a Tarantino film, but it gave me the same like taste. It left the same taste in my mouth. Anyway, I love the way the story is told. I love that he has staple, like I love that it says, I feel like, well, I'm pretty sure he had some like allegations, right? So I don't want to like glorify. I know, and it's like
to all the listeners,
like I'm just trying not to get canceled, but like okay, so like
that's why we don't use our names.
True.
Can I have a sip of that water?
Yeah, don't do it in the mic.
I'm gonna do it in the mic.
Don't.
I won't. I'm gonna.
Don't. Okay.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm not gonna do it again. Did you hear it?
Yes. Just put it there.
I don't want it to spill on my equipment. I'm just joshing.
Anyway. What were we talking about?
Maybe Bullet Train.
And I feel like it says something about the films that the actors keep coming back.
Oh, for Tarantino?
Yeah.
Yeah. He really, always used the same actors. I think Scorsese did a little bit. See, I don't really know. Okay, here's the thing: is as a director, I think Tarantino might. I don't know. Taxi Driver is my favorite movie.
Okay.
And I also like Casino, which I hope I'm not fucking that up. I think that's Scorsese, but I just think. Have you seen Taxi Driver?
I know exactly what movie you're talking about. Like, I really do, but I don't think I've ever actually sat down, at least consciously.
So
like,
good. It is so fucking good. It's so dark, though. Like, it's really dark. It's written like
hella angsty.
Yeah,
hella angsty.
It's like you have to watch it. Maybe we'll watch it, but it's like it's.
Did you see The Frightful Eight? I think that's what it's called. The new
Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight. The Hateful Eight.
Love Hateful Eight.
You liked it?
You didn't like it?
No, I liked it.
Oh, I liked it.
I like that I get uncomfortable. Is that weird?
No.
I like that when I watch it, I get kind of uncomfortable. Like, some things that make me uncomfortable. What about his films? Like, it's like, okay, in Inglourious Bastards, all right?
Right.
There's something to be said about the first scene when, what's his name? Christopher something. The guy, whoever.
Christopher.
You know who I'm talking about.
Fuck,
he's like the main guy. Well, not the main guy, but one of the main Nazi guys. Yes.
Where he's like,
and he's walking through. He sits down. He drinks the milk.
Right.
Nothing per se happens or is happening. Your heart is like about to explode out of your chest.
Right.
With nothing. Like something about the way that he tells a story, and it makes you like so uncomfortable. Like, you think but it's not even like in a classic thriller sense. It's like artistically almost. Like, it's like he so creatively creates these like storylines and suspense builds that are like not like you're watching a normal like thriller. Like, there's no like leading up music, and there's no like someone's behind the door. Like, it's so calm, like in that scene, that it like causes panic.
Yeah, that's like that's what Alfred Hitchcock used to do.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very Hitchcockian.
It's very Hitchcockian.
Yeah, I took an art of film class in high school. But okay.
I don't want to like get too into it, because then I'm gonna say something wrong. Because I'm not actually like a film snob, but I do like creative things.
I do like some good movies.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll pivot again. So, we were talking about, your trip that you're going on to New York, which is top 3 for you. But do you have any bucket list areas and let's say outside of the United States? Do you have any bucket list? Well, I guess first of all, do you like to travel? It sounds like you do.
I like to travel.
Okay.
But I haven't made any big girl trips by myself out of the United States.
Okay.
I think that'll be a test of if I really like to travel. You know what I mean? Because I think people being like, oh, I like to visit new cities is different than like traveling. Like, traveling.
Vacationing versus traveling. Yeah.
Right. There is a difference there.
Oh, big time. Do you have any bucket list, I guess, countries that you would want to go to?
I want to go to where my dad was born in Nicaragua. I want to go to Managua.
Me too, but for different reasons. But yeah, that's cool.
Hey, I want to join the rebellion. No, I want to go to where my family is from in Mexico as well. I think
cool.
Outside of those places, I've always wanted to go to Europe's so basic. But I would love.
Who cares
to,
if you want to go there? I mean, that's the question.
I would love to go to Europe. I want to go to Rome. I want to go to
all
Ibiza.
The classic things. Oh yeah.
I want to go to Ibiza.
What about like Paris?
Yeah.
That whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to do it all, but I want to I feel like there's different ways to go about it that you get different things out of it. Because I've heard things about both sides, where you either go and you like backpack it and you just like immerse yourself, whatever. And then I've heard about like going and setting up a stay there. And like taking your time to make your way through like the places in Europe. I would like to say that I could do the whole backpacking and immersion route.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could.
Your nightly routine would get
routine would be so squashed. Yeah. Like, I don't know if I by the third night I'd be like, I need a hotel. Like,
yeah, you're not hostile gal. Yeah, well, this, funnily enough, also a book on my desk. Vagabonding, an uncommon really guide to the art of long-term world travel.
Wow.
By Rolf Potts. So, he talks about the immersion aspect of things and kind of, you know, going to these different places and trying to really blend with the locals. And it's fascinating. And I'm only like halfway or a quarter of the way through it, but it's really something that I want to do. I'm very passionate about it. And for different reasons, like I was saying, you know, I would like to go to Nicaragua, but I would really, Latin America just seems like such an interesting place, in my opinion, that I would love to go. I would really, Argentina is for show on the bucket list. Colombia, I like Peru, except they're having a little bit of civil unrest there right now. Yeah. Prayers, by the way. Ecuador is dope.
Ecuador?
I could just name all the countries, except you want to know what the one that I'm kind of hesitant to go to is Brazil.
Okay, elaborate.
Because if I'm going to spend all this time learning Spanish, right?
I know where you're going.
I don't want to go have to fucking learn Portuguese. Right.
They're kind of an oddball. Kind of like, what are you doing
Well,
here?
It's just such a big country.
I feel like it definitely would be beautiful.
Oh, it would be. There's nice beaches. Apparently the people are nice as fuck. Like, but that Portuguese, man.
Yeah, they got some big old beaches there.
It sounds hard.
Yeah. Portuguese is, well, if you speak fluent Spanish, though, it's actually relatively easy.
Well, I don't.
I know, but I'm saying, like...
if you could go and do it.
No.
With a couple classes.
With my dad, I could. Yeah.
Is he fluent?
Oh, yeah. Him and my mom are both fluent.
Both fluent. That's chill. So you're a fan of the travel, but only if you can get your nightly routine in.
Well, yeah. I don't know yet.
Right.
I want to know. My problem, I'll tell you what my problem is.
Okay.
I have like a big problem. I hate being alone. So I'd have to find someone to like for the past year I wanted to go to like Ibiza or Rome or something like that with a friend. I wish so badly I could just be like, I'm just going to go. Like people who do that, but I feel like it's also different when you're a woman. Like it's harder to do stuff like travel around by yourself.
It's so scarier.
It's scarier, not harder. I shouldn't say that.
Well, it is.
You just have to
take more precautions. Yeah.
So like, I feel like it's better to go together. But like for me in general, like I wish so badly I could just like go and like do stuff alone and travel alone. But I'm not that girl.
But does part of you think that maybe because you have that feeling you should do it's even more of a reason to do it? See, I've heard that.
And this past year I found a lot of like peace in being alone because you're out of college. Life is a lot quieter. You're not consistently surrounded by like being super social. But I just enjoy things more when I have someone to talk to, I think.
But don't you think, I mean, leaving to go on the trip alone.
I just think I would actually go crazy.
But don't you think okay, let's say you're staying in a hostel, right?
Okay.
And you can get a private room in a hostel, but there's still like a communal area, right?
Okay.
So you go by yourself and then you meet people there and you go out together. And so it's not like you don't have to like not talk to anybody.
I know, but I want someone to share the experience with. But I get what you're saying. It's a security blanket. It's a comfort thing for sure.
Really?
Yeah, I think yeah. But I don't know. That's like a whole thing.
It's like a whole thing.
That's like a whole thing, yeah.
Okay.
The whole not alone thing is like a whole thing.
So do you think I mean, okay, you said some areas in Latin America that you would like to go to, and then also places in Europe. Mm-hmm. So is there anything about, I guess, those specific cultures that, I mean, it's kind of maybe a little more self-explanatory for Latin America because that's where your roots are from. Mm-hmm. But, you know, culture-wise, like, when you're thinking about traveling, is the culture part of the draw to you, or what you know calls you to a place?
That's a really good question. What calls you to a place? Yeah, the food.
Yeah,
the food is the best answer I could give you. I told you that's all I think about is I'm like, well, I would love to go to Thailand. I don't really know Like,
you don't like Thai food? That's unbelievable. I don't think I've ever heard anyone that doesn't like Thai food.
Stop.
What is there not to like?
I don't know. Now you're gonna put me on the spot. Maybe if I had. Okay, I'll say this: the Thai food that I have tried, has not been my favorite. I'll leave it at that. So I will be open if you're like, no, this is gonna change your mind. I'll go right now.
I'm sure you could find some bust in Thailand.
Yeah. So yeah. True.
But Southeast Asia would be sick.
Yeah.
Do you okay? So
food, that's like Europe. Like
they got good food in Europe. I had some bust down when I went to Europe. Hella. You ever hear of like Basque? Like, you know, like
yes.
Yeah, the Basque food, dude. Oh my God. Yeah, with that good. I actually just recently though went to Switzerland.
I saw that.
And their food was bad. I'm not kidding. Not to shit on Switzerland, but their food was dog shit.
Switzerland cancel him.
Their food was dog shit.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You didn't have any like sausages? Or
no, that's all they have. That's the problem.
I had too many.
I had hella brats, and then I had hella schnitzel or whatever the fuck that fried pork is.
Okay.
You know, and it's like, I don't know. For me,
was the beer good? Was there alcohol good?
I like Coors Light. Like, you could put. I'll go to the nicest restaurant.
American war out there.
I'll go to the nicest fucking restaurant, and my first question about drinks is like, do you have Coors Light?
You want to know why I can't be too mad?
Why?
Because my mom or dad or like whoever gave me like to try the most like, this has been fermenting since the 30s wine, and I'm like, can I get a Dirty Shirley? Like that's like my go-to. Like, this is terrible. Like, literally, my grandpa was like, that's $1,000 bottle of wine. I'm like, dude, it tastes terrible. Like, I don't care.
I'm not a wine guy.
I'm not either.
Yeah, it's I could do a white. But a red.
What does that say about you?
Yeah, it means I'm a racist. Cancel me. And I fucking hate Switzerland, which is like the whitest place in the world. Yeah, I will say though, the Swiss. Okay, so we stayed in Zurich, right? Okay. Which is like, Switzerland is like one of the most expensive cities in the world.
Wait, what?
Countries in the world.
Wait, really?
Well, think about you always hear about Swiss banks, all that shit.
Yeah.
Got a lot of finance going on. Zurich is the most expensive city in Switzerland, and we were staying at this nice ass hotel called the Hotel Schweizerhof or some shit like that.
Okay.
It was for a business trip. And so I pulled up in like athletic shorts. I have like a travel backpack, so I have my travel backpack. And everyone is in suits and they're smoking cigars and I'm like,
they're like handing you their towels.
It was like, bad. It was bad. We were badly out of place.
Oh, man.
And it felt
now you know.
It felt a little weird because and I'm not shitting on Switzerland. Don't get me wrong. I'm not shitting on it. I guess I kind of am.
Oh, you are.
But their food is okay.
I'm not shitting on them, but it is the shittiest place I've ever been to.
It's beautiful. It's very beautiful.
It looked beautiful.
Their food is pretty good in a way. Like, in a way. Their food's pretty good in a way. It's just expensive, and I'm broke, so that's also part of it.
Okay, that's fair.
If I had brought in hella suits and stuff like that, you know,
ready to put your finance bro game face on.
Yeah, the finance bro of it would be kind of cool.
Yeah,
I would like to do it in another life, though.
Well, now you're prepared.
Yeah, I just now that I went there, I heard people talking about it at breakfast. We had this really dank breakfast with hella eggs and sausage and bacon and stuff and croissants. Okay, so was the food good or bad? I can't tell. The breakfast was good. I couldn't afford to really go eat out after that. But. Okay, so let's rephrase this. The problem. It's expensive. The food is expensive. Yeah. This is the real root of the problem. Yeah. It has nothing to do with Swiss food. It's the fact that you couldn't afford the good stuff. Well, I don't really like fondue. Is that a Swiss staple? Mm-hmm. Oh. Well, it's like I don't think it's necessarily a Swiss staple, but it's like It's like when you go to Switzerland, like it's like
cheese fondue.
Yeah, cheese fondue.
Okay.
Like it's like a whole thing there. It's like
interesting
because that's like where it's from.
Oh, okay.
And have you had fondue?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of mid. It's just cheese and bread, bro. Like,
what else could you want?
Where's the meat?
Yeah, true.
I like steak. That's why I asked if you like steak.
I do like steak. I'm
glad you're not vegan.
Imagine.
I was thinking that. I was thinking like she could be vegan, for all I know.
What would that do?
I would be like, okay, goodbye.
She's a 10, but she's a vegan.
Here's the thing, man, is that's fine as long as I'm not going to get
she's a 10, but she's a vegan, like lifestyle vegan. Like she is everything you've ever wanted and more. Like literally.
Okay.
But she's a vegan and wants you to become a vegan.
Okay, I was going to say, do I have to convert?
Yes.
So I have to be a vegan.
I need you to imagine this, though.
No, I wouldn't do it. I would not do it.
So you let her go.
Yeah.
Everything you've ever wanted and more in a partner, in a person. Because...
Okay. But here's the thing. Though, is diet is a very important thing.
Okay, that's true.
I am one to believe, and also, if this woman was everything I ever wanted her to be, then she would also be. No, not that, but she would also be. Because I don't care if someone's a vegan. Yeah. The thing is like
you just suck.
I don't want you to look down on me when I'm eating a big ribeye steak.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is that I don't want to convert. I think it's bad for you personally. I think
being a vegan, I do too. I do believe that. I'm sorry, there's no way you get the amount of protein you're supposed to get from beans.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this hot take. Okay. Whatever is in a vegan patty burger is worse for you than what's in McDonald's.
That's not a hot take. That's a fucking just a reasonable take. Like
I think, and it's like so people who argue it. I'm like, you're telling me that they're pumping gums and stuff in this to make it feel like meat. First of all, why? You don't want to eat meat, so why do you want to feel like you're eating meat?
Exactly.
1, 2. How is that better for you? In what world?
It's not, because it has hella seed oil in it.
That's what I'm saying.
It has hella seed oil in it, and it's also made with pea protein. And you know what's in pea protein is glyphosate.
Tell them about glyphosate.
Glyphosate is the same chemical that was used in Roundup, which is a weed killer. And that's a pesticide that you can find in most pea protein based meat products like alternative meat products. And that shit will fucking give you cancer. And it pisses me off because they're like, you know that Just Egg shit? You know that Just Egg? That shit is so bad for you. And real eggs are so good for you. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. Here's the thing. If you're doing it for the climate or whatever, like, listen, if you're doing it for whatever reason, more power to you. Yeah. I'm not here to change your opinion about fucking anything. I think you could go and you can do whatever you want. That's fine. Yeah. Right? But I don't want my choices to be infringed on as well.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. I'm glad we got let's see. Okay, we already talked about that at dinner. Let me ask you a variation of that question though.
Okay. I'm scared.
Do you believe in God?
Yes, I do believe in God.
In what capacity? Let's get into it.
Oh my god.
This rain is nice, by the way.
I know.
Does it sound good in the
Yeah, it does. It sounds like, well, it kind of just sounds like you have a leaky ceiling, but we'll just call it rain.
I let my guest wear the nice headphones because I'm a good guy.
I do. I believe that I was born and raised Catholic, so I had one idea of God for my whole life, nothing outside of that.
And what was that idea, like big man in the clouds with the beard?
Totally.
Okay.
And I think as a child it helped me like visualize what I was really like, doing. Now,
get a little closer to the mic, sorry.
Now being an adult, I'm like, now being an adult and having met people of various faiths, I feel like it's almost interesting because all of these things that people say are wrong about other people's religions, like,
yeah,
we're all somehow doing it and just in different variations. And I feel like when you look at a lot of religions, like structured religions, like whether you're praying to Allah or God or Buddha or Jehovah, like, isn't that all like this? Like, it just, to me, I'm not saying it is, to me, it just feels like it's all the same thing.
I totally agree.
And I think that people name it different things that in a way that it's easier to digest for them, whether that be culturally or whatever.
So you believe in a God. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming it's no longer a guy up in the sky with a beard.
Well, that's hard for me because that's all I've ever known.
But you don't think there's a guy that lives in space with a beard?
No, so, I don't know. But it's hard for me to not, when I think of God, it's hard for me to not visualize that.
Right, me too. But I'm just saying, like, you know, when I think of God, and it just comes to my mind, you know, I think of the painting that was at, in a church, mm-hmm. like, where he's sticking his hand out like that and touching the other guy's finger. But anyway, but what is your, like, what or who do you think God, like, is? Does that make sense? Kinda.
That is such a loaded question. Like, who am I to say that? Like, who are you to say that? Like, I feel like I think it's God is
a woman.
Lady Gaga. No. No. I think that I don't know. It's hard for me because everything that I have instilled in me is like so traditionally Catholic.
Right.
So it's hard for me to like really see outside of that, even though I feel a different way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I do feel like we're all worshiping the same thing. Whatever this source is that is keeping us together, that is okay. In my life, just specifically for me, I feel like there have been a lot of things that have happened to me that I have seen. You know, people say like this, I felt like I saw the face of God through this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I would use that phrase, but I feel like I've felt the presence of God and a higher power in so many different examples or different experiences in my life that have been like, there's no way for me to just believe that we're just like a rock flying in the sky kind of thing.
Okay. I respect it.
Is that helpful enough?
It is. Like, it is helpful.
It's just, I can't sit here and say that it's this or that, but I think that's what it is, right?
Right.
Is that there is no label, there is no box you can put that in.
Yeah. The box that made the most sense for me is that God is love. And that was something that I realized in high school.
Oh, give me chills.
And I think, and a lot of the times when I was in school or when we were talking about religious things, it would make a lot more sense for me to like cross out God and put love, and it's like when you're, and if you think about it in like a very like literal way, love is the same as God in the sense that it's something that you can't prove is real, right? But when there is love between two people, it's there. Mm-hmm. And that's like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, I guess, without having like thought about it a little bit beforehand, because I haven't really thought about this since high school. But it's like, that's just what's always made the most sense to me. And I kind of feel like God is love and heaven is heaven on earth if everyone were to be able to love each other. Who knows, though? Who knows? Should we pivot once more?
No, let's pivot.
Let's
that was
pivot.
Food for thought.
Let's pivot.
Okay.
I know you'll like this question.
Okay.
Because our viewers, or I guess our listeners, the people are dying to know. What's the nightly routine? Break it.
Oh my God.
Break it down for us, step by step. Let's hear it.
All right. This is a nightly routine of a very...
And I'm sorry to interrupt, but no one can see you right now.
Okay.
But you're glowing.
Thank you.
And you have beautiful skin. So it's a nightly routine that anyone out there listening, they might follow. I'm maybe I'll
You're
maybe
thinking about it.
I'm thinking about it. So let's sell me on it.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
I have extremely dry skin. Like,
you're kidding.
Extremely dry skin. So my nightly routine may be very bad for someone with oily skin.
Okay.
We'll put that out there.
Take that with a grain of salt, people with oily skin.
Because I go to bed, just lathered. just greased up. So I start by washing my face with CeraVe. I think that less is more when it comes to face wash.
Okay.
All the fancy stuff, the Kim Kardashian line, the this, the that, the grapefruit, whatever. No, that's literally killing your skin. Okay, so
agreed.
I think that buying the hottest thing is stupid versus looking at the ingredients of what you're putting on your face.
Agreed.
And even if that means that it's CeraVe, like literally, why does that matter? It's so much cheaper than anything else.
Yeah.
So CeraVe, start with CeraVe. And then from there, I use the Neutrogena Hydrogel, which is basically just pure hyaluronic acid, which is just moisture.
Okay.
From there, I use either CeraVe or Vanicream face moisturizer, which is just a thick lotion.
Okay.
And I rub it in, and then I make sure to kind of like go and like gouache, like a... Well, I can't really show you a gua sha, but or what I'm doing with my hands.
Okay.
But basically,
you were telling me
yes,
about
like
this.
it's like massaging and draining your neck helps a lot. It helps with like your jawline and your blood flow and like all the stuff you hold in your lymph nodes and everything. Yeah, I'll show you. Well, that's not right, but I'll show you later.
Okay. I'm excited.
And then the biggest thing too, pro tip: when you're drying your face, pat, don't pull, wrinkles. Small things. So when you're drying your face with a towel, we pat. And it also helps boost collagen back into your face. Like wake up your cells.
So you shouldn't pull. So what if I'm messing with my cheeks sometimes? Sometimes I like to like grab my cheeks.
Don't do that. And then I end by, I think it's the proper term is slugging, which is basically like putting Aquaphor in because this is the thing, like with Aquaphor and coconut oil, you can clog your pores pretty badly. But like for me, like I have really dry skin, so like in places that I'm feeling really dry, I put it on, but I put it under my eyes.
Okay.
To keep my eyes nice and moist. And
yeah.
I'll put it on my lips, and then usually I'll put coconut oil around my hairline where I feel dry. And then I'll put some on my lips. And then by the time I go to bed, I mean, you could probably fry something on my face, but I wake up really refreshed.
And do you get worried about getting oil on your sheets?
No, because I'm not actually oily, and I don't have like.
But it's like it's Aquaphor. It's like.
I mean, but I have regular. If I was silky sheets, they would it'd be over.
You don't have silky sheets?
No.
I know we talked about it. We talked about it.
You don't.
You seem like a silky sheets gal. What can I say?
I guess it's a compliment.
Yeah, it is a compliment.
You
got nice hair.
Seem lavish.
Yeah, it looks like you got one of those silk pillows.
I honestly really should. That would help my hair a lot.
Is that the way your hair looks naturally?
Mm-hmm.
It's very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's keep it going. My next question was, do I get to try it tonight?
My nightly routine?
Yeah.
Sure. I'll bring it in.
Okay. You ever think about cutting out the
think about what?
Cutting out the CeraVe and the Aquaphor and
you were like pivot. You ever think about cutting yourself?
Well, that could have been a conversation for earlier in the
dude, you really caught me off guard.
No,
I'm like, whoa.
I'm thinking about
cutting out Aquaphor. Never.
Well, replacing it with maybe more coconut oil.
No.
Why?
No.
¿Por qué?
Because it's not the same.
Jesus, you're like yelling.
Sorry. No, it's not the same. It doesn't have the same effect. You should drink all my water.
Yeah, have some. Have some.
I don't want any right now. But I might want some later and it won't be there.
There's a sink downstairs.
It's not the same. It's like petroleum jelly. So it's like thicker.
It's more moisturizing.
Way more, and it lasts longer. Speaking of which.
Oh, getting some out right now. Okay.
Oh, listen to that. Ready? This is the sound of dreams coming true. I can't hear it coming on my lips.
Okay. Here's a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you the type of person that tends to think more about the future or the past?
Okay. I think by nature, future. But because I have anxiety, I can't help but think of everything bad that's ever happened to me and like how I would have done it differently.
Yeah.
And like I think about like cringy moments, or I also think about things that I missed or things that I should have done. So I think the anxiety part of me is like past, but more for in like a, not for lack of a better word, like regretful way.
Mm-hmm.
But I think by nature I like dreaming about the future.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
It does. And it just made me think, what do you think? I mean, obviously there's an unhealthy extent of doing both of those things,
Mm-hmm.
but do you have any ways that you try to keep yourself in the present moment?
I have a hard time with that.
Me too.
I have a really hard time being in the present. And then I feel like things pass me by.
Do you feel like you go into your own head a lot?
A lot.
Yeah, me too.
Because I don't think about what's happening. I think about how like I should be perceiving it, how people should be perceiving me.
Me too.
And then it's over.
And then it's over. And then, yeah, I have the same thing happen to me where I just get trapped in my own head in a situation and then I just can't get out of it. But apparently there's ways to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, I should read a book about it or something.
On over.
Yeah.
A book about it.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
10 years.
10 years.
Realistically, 10 years. Let's see. So how old will I be? 10 years I'll be 3. Wow. I would say.
Okay, but.
What?
I'm sorry. Because you were like, oh, realistically. You got to say where you want to be, like, fucking,
no.
What are you,
no, and I agree, but I'm saying, like, I got to think about that. Not realistically as in, like, oh, well, let me dole down my dreams, but as in, like, where will I actually be?
Okay.
I will be in the thick of my career.
Okay.
And living in a city somewhere. I don't know if it'll be LA. I don't know if it'll be Chicago or New York, but I see myself in the city.
Me too.
I'm in the city.
For you, yeah.
I'm in the city.
Mm-hmm.
I'm successful. And I think the biggest thing that I'm excited for is that, like, I feel like through my life, I've convinced myself that I can't do things because of how differently, like, I think and, like, I go about things. And I'm excited to get there, to look back and be like almost to, like, prove myself wrong in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I'm excited to, like, overcome all the things I told myself I couldn't do.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
That is exciting. Very, very profound answer.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Last question.
Okay.
If you could give...
Make it a good one.
I'm going to try. If you could give one piece of advice to the world, what would it be?
I think one piece of advice. I don't know if this would be my choice, but it's it's like I can't get it out of my head.
Okay.
Is to always remember that you don't know everyone's full story or what they're going through. And I think that has to do with, I mean, work, walking down the street, trying to get a job, having roommates. Like, you never really know. You never really know what someone's going through. And I think you proceed, not with caution, but you go through life with a little bit of a different perspective when you think that way. So, yeah.
I like that answer. Well, thank you. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. It was a fun time.
It was so fun.
And till next time, folks.